I'm explaining a film from 2019 titled Aquaslash. Spoilers ahead. Enjoy the content. The scene begins with a pair of lovers in the pool area, Cindy and Brad, the pool guard. They had not yet returned to their separate houses that night, so they made love at the slide due to the casual environment of the night. A minute later, someone with a machete viciously and horribly murdered the couple. Valley Hills High School will hire a location for a graduation ceremony a few months later. This graduation ceremony will be attended by students from the 2018 cohort. The graduation ceremony this year will be very different from previous years since it will take place at Wet Valley, a water park. This concept came from Alice, a high school graduate, as is typical of graduation parties in general, when every student is really excited about organizing everything. How could they not be ecstatic? They will remain for 3 days and are permitted to bring a companion in addition to playing in the water until they are saturated. The narrative of this film will center on a student named Josh, who was at the time in a band called the Blades with his buddies Chad and Slim. A water park guard called Carter approached them a minute later. He has been charged with monitoring the water park for nearly 35 years. Then a young lady called Kimberly, or just Kim, approached the Blades as they practiced their maneuvers. Kim turned out to be Josh's ex-girlfriend, and she now works at the water park as a swimming pool supervisor. However, Kim's boyfriend, Tommy, evidently witnessed their private talk, which made him envious and instantly approached the two of them. The scene shifts to a car, where Josh's father can be seen chatting on the phone. It is Josh's call, and he is urging his father to attend the graduation ceremony and come to the water park. At the same time, other students were having fun on the park's rides, their favorite being the legendary tall and long slide. The function went off without a hitch, nothing strange occurred. Some mischievous kids, however, took advantage of the circumstance by swimming while carrying booze. As a result, the owner of the swimming pool had to intervene and stop them from misbehaving. But they are still obstinate, doing silly things that make the pool unclean, so Carter is compelled to clean it from the dirt that they freely toss into the pool. In the afternoon, Kim and Tommy, her boyfriend, accidentally passed Josh and his band hanging out. The truth is that one of the Blades members needed a cable reel, so they told Tommy to look for it. Apparently it was just a diversion. Josh's friends deliberately told the man to take a cable reel so Josh could be alone with Kim. Sure enough, Josh took advantage of the opportunity by inviting Kim to be alone together until they lost track of time. Meanwhile, Tommy was skeptical because he hadn't found his girlfriend till now. Josh also invites his ex to make out, while Tommy is concerned about his fiancée, who has mysteriously vanished. On the other side, Josh's father, Michael, was supposedly seeing a lady named Priscilla, and they were eating dinner at a posh restaurant. Michael was preparing to propose to his girlfriend that night, Priscilla, who turned out to be Paul's wife, the owner of the water park. We don't know what possessed Priscilla to cheat on her husband, despite the fact that Paul is just as affluent as Michael. Perhaps she is simply odd. We have no idea. Josh returned to his pals after spending time with Kim to prepare for his presentation as the lead band. Kim likes Josh's performance as if she doesn't feel guilty, even if Tommy approaches her and wonders where she has been all this time. That night, Michael arrived with Priscilla, and Tommy obviously hadn't realized Kim was back with Josh. Unbeknownst to them, it appears that the cheeky students had secretly videotaped an intimate incident between Kim and Josh and then distributed it over social media groups. Tommy circulated and watched the footage, and knowing that he was obviously enraged by his girlfriend's treachery, he immediately rushed on stage and beat Josh, who was performing with his band. Things worsened once Priscilla discovered her husband having an affair with Alice. Josh was strolling when his father approached him. Michael asked his son what if he bought the place. Without realizing that Alice was eavesdropping on their conversation, she immediately went straight to Paul's room and she scolded him for allegedly negotiating to sell the water park. But Paul denied this and said that he would never sell the water park, because this park was the only land he used to make a living, although in fact Paul spoke in a drunken state. After the event, the kids had all relaxed and no one was lingering about outside, but it was discovered that someone had purposefully destroyed the slide by piercing it and inserting 2 sharp pieces of iron into it. It didn't end there. The next day, Michael was being followed by an unknown individual while he toured the area of the water park. He was shot in the leg and collapsed. To make matters worse, Michael was kidnapped and imprisoned in a warehouse. Another horrifying fact is that the remains of Cindy and Brad, the couple who guard the water park depicted at the beginning of the film, are found in the warehouse. The scene shifts to Tommy getting fired from the water park and breaking up with Kim, then Carter arrives and says that a woman like Kim will no longer care about a man like Tommy. After lunch break, Carter returned to his task of opening the water channel to the slide from top to bottom. The terrifying thing was that no one saw the 2 sharp metal rods inserted within the slide. Priscilla, the pool's caregiver, prefers to spend her time with her partner rather than keeping an eye on the facility. By late afternoon, all of the students look to be excited to ride the water slides and compete for $500 in prizes. They will compete as a team, with the winner being the individual who descends the fastest from top to bottom. Josh, who took part in this combat, brought Chad and Slim, but Slim hasn't been seen since. Tommy appears suddenly, after having been fired and abandoned by Kim. Tommy said that he was not looking for trouble but he wanted to take part in the competition. Having just entered the slide, Tommy was treated badly by all the students. Meanwhile, Josh and Chad, who had not seen Slim until now, asked Kim to replace him. Soon, Tommy, who was alone, began to realize that something bad had happened to the slide. He saw that there was a small hole behind the slide. He also found pieces of plastic which were trash from the person who made the hole. When all of the kids had climbed the steps one by one, and Carter was sitting relaxedly waiting for the game to begin, Tommy broke the silence by informing everyone that the slide was no longer safe. But no one paid heed to what he said since they assumed Tommy would just cause trouble. Everyone was preoccupied with ensuring that everything was operating well. Priscilla verified the issue to Carter and cross-checked to ensure that everything was moving smoothly. Everything was in order, and no one realized that the slide contained 2 sharp irons. Tommy was not discouraged. He continued to warn that the slide was dangerous and that it needed to be inspected. Everyone just booed and laughed at him until they started sliding down the slide, while Tommy, who was talking about the danger, was shoved into the slide by someone. 3 females were the first to enter the slide, and the 2 sharp irons promptly sliced their bodies into bits. What a horrible sight. While below, onlookers were taken aback by the blood-splattered water from the slide, not to mention multiple body fragments. Everyone yelled loudly and fled in terror. Carter was so taken aback that he fell out of his chair, shattering his leg. Tommy continued to slide uncontrolled to the bottom, but his body was stopped by the girl's corpse, which was still lodged between the 2 razor metal blades. Carter understood there was a problem and promptly phoned Priscilla to stop the game. We're not sure what occurred. The walkie-talkie died, so Priscilla couldn't hear Carter's comments. Instead, she challenged Paul to a sliding race, with the stipulation that he win if he still wants to be with her. They slide down with Paul, who is about to die, while Josh starts checking the ill-fated slide and tells everyone to stop sliding. Luckily Paul didn't slide and managed to grab Josh's hand, while the others had to slide and were cut to death by the sharp iron, including Tommy, who was stuck. Before the condition got worse, Carter ordered Chad and Kim to turn off the water pump in the warehouse. But how surprised Kim was when she discovered Josh's father's body, as well as the bodies of the others, in the warehouse. At the same moment, the quick flow of water caused Paul to lose his grip and was sliced to death in a terrible manner. At the water park, a horrible occurrence had occurred. A few months later, it looked that Michael had left a significant legacy for Josh, but one thing remained unfinished, namely the transaction letter for the $20 million acquisition of the Wet Valley Water Park. With Paul's death in the event, Priscilla was the only one who got it. She grinned weirdly, as if carefree, and the video ended. That's all the recap. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget to give a like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support would be appreciated. I hope to see you next time.